You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something quite...
Chris, the Herons are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 205 of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me, as always, Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
I heard there was an entertaining game recently.
Yes.
But apparently
100%.
Ray Sosa says that USMNT underperforming. What else is new?
Oh, man, but today they look like the better side, even though they were down a man. It was unfortunate. It was Timothy Weah. I don't know if you got to see any of the highlights, Chris.
No,
but
not yet.
He basically just donkey punched somebody. You ever heard of a donkey punch, Chris?
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yes.
Okay. Yes, he donkey punched somebody, got the red card, and then we were down to 10 men for basically the whole game. And even with that, we scored first. We gave up a stupid goal, and they took out our goalkeeper. They were leg sweeping like if it was Mortal Kombat. Like it was quite the game. And somebody that I know was watching it, because I believe they were live streaming it, was our guest that's going to preview Nashville with us. So let me bring him on right now, so maybe we can get his thoughts on the quick USA game that just ended.
So,
Miss
Uncle
ahead. Matt, how are you doing, sir?
I was doing a lot better before like the last 7 to 8 minutes of that match, man. That was something.
Leg sweeps.
I mean, did you hear either one of two things? Leg
Hadouken?
sweep or get him a body bag.
I missed those. I came in late, so I must have missed that. But they probably were justified.
That's classic Karate Kid stuff right there. Karate Kid. I mean, that's sweep the leg.
Yeah, man. It was the Carrasquillo. Look, there was a play there, Chris, where I felt like Pulisic had some space. He was going to take the ball into the box. Who knows what would have happened? And Carrasquillo from Panama saw that it was happening. He said, F this. Literally just swept his right leg from under him. Like, no F's given. Like, not even trying to, act like he was going for the ball. He just, swiped at his leg. Immediate red card. Went down to 10 men, 10 on 10. But at that point, it was almost the 90th minute. And it was rough, man. It was rough. But, oh, well. That I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Uncle Matt. Basically, the U.S. has a I think they're gonna have to beat Uruguay in order to advance.
I did a little live stream, just kind of me just blabbering on while the match was happening. But I was like, I think now we have to be the biggest Uruguay fans in the world tonight, because if they just beat the crap out of Bolivia, they've got nothing to play for in the last match, and we can hopefully give an easy match against them in the last game. But that sucked. We need to get that result there. But Tim Weah, I don't know. Of all things in the world, just that punch there was crazy. Why you throw that punch there?
Yeah. I mean, you guys are making it sound like he cocked back and flew full force.
It was. It wasn't like a Roman.
It wasn't a Superman punch. Yeah, it wasn't a
Roman Reigns Superman punch, but it was
But he did give him one.
It was clear. It was definitely it wasn't I'm pushing you, but I used my hand in the face. He punched him in the face, and I'm like,
oh my God.
When you watch it looks like it was like an instant reaction, because he got shoved, and as he's falling back, he just one of those real quick in the back of the head.
I thought the Panamanian dude must have said something about his family or something like that, because there's no way you just randomly cock back and punch a guy like that in a soccer match. Adult league, rec league of the pitch, that's different. But
I felt like Panama came out with a purpose, though, to really get under our skin.
Yeah. That might have been part of it, because we've seen some of that in some of the international tournaments lately. That's been a lot of the lesser teams things. Been oh well, if we agitate them enough, they'll go insane. Look at
Sergino Dest against Trinidad and Tobago.
Exactly.
Dumbass red card, just kicking the ball into the stage for no reason.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, but he seems like he's really short-tempered, so I could see something like that from Sergio Dest.
No, Timothy Weah's from Brooklyn. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
That was the thing about it. Was he's you would not expect that from him. He's not been a hothead at all. But you said, Brooklyn, dude. My wife's from New York. I know. They get a little crazy. Y'all get a little crazy sometimes.
Clint Dempsey said he's like I know the kid. He's completely out of character. So. Who knows what he must have been, like they said, just got under their skin. So what's going on, Mitch? So I guess let's get back to what we're here for. Unless you guys want to touch on the USA just any more at all. It's unfortunate because I thought that they were a shoo-in to get out of the group stages, and after today, and they had some opportunities, man. Even though they were playing 10 on 11, they still had some opportunities. So, Shadow Wolf saying that they're still in first. That's because Uruguay hasn't played tonight yet, and you expect that they're going to beat the worst team in the tournament, Bolivia, and because USA plays against Uruguay next, so you don't expect them to get a result. So it's just, I don't know. We'll see. And you expect Panama to watch. And you expect Panama to kick Bolivia's ass.
That's what I'm saying. We need Uruguay to just kill Bolivia tonight. Just like wipe them out. Uruguay has nothing to play for in the last match. And we can just come in there and like get a result. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. We're good. We're good. All good.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's a long shot. That's a long shot. Because Suarez, y'all know Suarez. He might not want to play that match. He might want a little bit of rest there.
Well, actually, he didn't play at all the first game. That might be the only game he does play.
Yes.
Just bring him in. Then.
Yeah. All right. So we are heading into a game on Saturday. We've been off for 10 days. We needed it, right? Because hopefully Redondo's back. Diego Gomez might be back. I don't know the whole selling of Diego Gomez is going. So we might have, not fully, a full squad, obviously, with Copa America going on. But we have a healthier squad than we have had over the last few weeks. How's Nashville looking as far as injuries and players gone for any reasons?
I mean, unless anything comes up late from like training, outside of the guys that are at Copa America, the guys that have been out long term, we're pretty solid. Schaffelberg's with Canada, Godoy's hurt. He got hurt while he was with Panama. He should have been playing today, actually, but everybody else is back. Zimmerman's playing for a while, so it's been pretty good for the most part. So health wise, we should be pretty good, I think, but the bigger issue is the people that are away. Like Shaq Moore is sitting on the bench for USA and not with us.
Well, and I got to be honest, though, Uncle, because I see here that you guys are very different looking than when we had you on last time. Essentially, you guys have either won or tied most of the games in the recent weeks.
Yeah, we've been on a decent run of form. Obviously, the biggest change was we fired our manager. Gary Smith got fired about 6-7 weeks ago, and I think we've only lost once or twice since he got fired. But I kind of go back and forth, how much was it the change of manager, how much it was Walker Zimmerman coming back, because that's been the biggest change. Is all of a sudden our defense has been solid. It's well, was it that we got rid of the manager? Was it our designated player? MLS Defensive Player of the Year multiple years comes back and suddenly we're not giving up 4 goals a game like we were.
You've played 11 games since we last played you. In those 11 games, you've only lost twice. And you mentioned the defense. You have, 1, 2, 3, 4 5 shutouts in those 11 games.
It's wild.
5 shutouts. And there's only one team that scored more than 1 goal against you in those 11 games, and that was New England that scored 2. Other than that, the most anybody scored is 1.
It's a revival, Danny. This is very different from when Uncle Matt was with us last time.
100%.
That's what I'm saying. You can attribute to certain things, but I'm the biggest thing is Walker Zimmerman. I'm not smart enough to think beyond that. He's the guy that came back. With those games, the first half of the season where we were losing 2-3 goals a game, suddenly Zimmerman comes back, and it makes me feel bad for Gary Smith that he got fired, because it's this was your guy. This was the guy that made your whole thing happen, and now we come back and everything's kind of back to normal, because we really haven't changed our style of play. There's nothing really that different. We've shifted Sam Surge out to left wing as opposed to striker, but for the most part, it's the same Nashville SC we've seen for 4 or 5 years at this point in time.
That's what I was going to ask you, though, because Gary Ball before this season was basically just hunker down, defend, and beat you with the counter. Hope that Mukhtar gives you what he gives you. And then you told me that this year it was they might switch it up a little bit, and they weren't, parking the bus as much. Are they back to just playing that style of a play?
So I always thought like the Gary Ball thing was like a little overrated. Like we were like Mourinho when like he was like at Porto, just been like, I'm gonna play 10 guys behind the ball and hope one guy scores a goal. Like
Right.
it was a little over exaggerated how defensively we were for the most part.
Okay.
But we're kind of playing the same way we always have been, except we've kind of shifted to adding what Gary said he was going to add. Like the first time I was on with you guys, like I talked about it. Gary said, like, we're going to press a little bit more. We're going to like do what we've always done, but add a little bit more pressing, a little bit more attacking. And then that didn't happen. And I kind of was like, well, maybe it's because we had like 12 injuries. We had all the extra games with the Copa America, or not Copa America, the CONCACAF Champions League. And I almost think like Gary would have been really good right now if he could have survived.
Right.
But things just went so bad for like that first stretch of the season that it just like fell apart. It was like, we have to do something. Because we're kind of playing the same way we have. But like, it's not like we're just like this last little stretch where like we've been better. We're not blowing teams out of the water. We're winning games like 1-0. We're tying. We're drawing. It's not like we're like running teams off the pitch or something like that. It's like it's kind of the same. The Nashville SC from like 3 years ago when we were like solid, but we weren't like dominating teams or anything like that. So it's kind of like we're back to what we were doing originally. And it's almost like, to me, it's like, what was the difference? It's like, well, Walker Zimmerman was missing for the first half of the season, and now he's back.
And you beat Cincinnati 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big one for us. But that was kind of weird because that was like we were both still in CONCACAF Champions Cup and like who was playing what rotations, it's still like that was MLS is so weird. Like who's playing what teams, what game.
Yeah.
So it's like that was a big win for us at that point in time. And like that was seeming like that was turning the corner. But since then, like they've, not looked that great coming out. Like we lost this match to New England. And everybody's like, oh, it's a disaster. New England's the worst team in the league. And I think New England's won like 4 games in a row since they beat us. Yeah. It's like it's one of the crazy things about MLS is like you like look at a team and you're like, oh, they suck. And then like 2 games later, you're like, oh, they've won 5 games in a row. It's like MLS is so different than like every other league in the world.
Absolutely.
It's like
just real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking.
It's the Miami Punch. The Miami Punch is it's the only one that's worth drinking.
It's the only one. It's the only one, Skrilla.
It's the only one we're drinking.
Only one.
And Tommy one time was asking. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna just mention about Vice City Lucas. That's the only one you got to try. Don't try any other.
Yeah. And Tommy one time said, "Am I rooting for every team?" No, I'm rooting for Colombia, and then I can't root against America. I'm rooting for the USA also. So you can suck it.
Who you rooting for, Tommy?
He's actually rooting for like Italy for some reason.
Get out of here.
He's not Italian, and he's Italy in the Euros, and then he's rooting for the US in the Copa. He ain't Italian. All right, go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just gonna mention about what you were talking about, Uncle Matt, where you have a lot of teams sort of like picking up the pace. Your team being one of them, New England being one of them. Philadelphia feels like they're on the decline big time. And then teams like, for example, Toronto, they've sort of turned it around as well. So I don't know, because the way that you're speaking, it's like, well, we're not blowing guys, out of the water here. We're not blowing teams out of the water. But at the same time, like if I'm a fan base of Nashville and the way that they've always played, I don't know. There's like a comfort in seeing them play this fashion and being like, we're walking away with 1-point wins and draws. I'm good with that.
Oh, no doubt. This is definitely like it's like, we're back to where we were at the best, points in our history. So like, we've never been a team that like won games like 6-0. Like we never shredded teams. Like, Hani Mukhtar's season where he was like MVP, we were still like winning games like 2-1, 3-1. He was just the one scoring all the goals. So it's like, we've never been a team that just like ran teams over, dominated teams or anything like that. But it's been just like, I think the things like our fan base has kind of turned on is like even the games that have been bad, except the Red Bull. Like anytime we play Red Bull, it just sucks. It's not fun to watch, and I think that's across the board for the league. It's like nobody likes to watch a game against Red Bull. Like they just hate playing soccer. I think.
Absolutely.
But outside of that, like we're always kind of playing like fun, entertaining, at least trying to progress the ball, trying to score goals soccer, where it doesn't seem like it's like, we're just sitting back defensive soccer. So it's been more fun to watch at least.
Absolutely.
Who is Bunbury?
So he's a striker for us. I think he's one of those like journeymen that's been around the MLS forever. Like we got him from New England, but I think he'd been at like Houston. He's been around the league for like forever. He's one of those dudes who was like I always compare him to like the dudes that I know from like playing FIFA, where like he's like a 68, 69, 70 rating dude who you might call into the US national team if you're like running that team, but he's like on the verge. Yeah, but he's not that great. But he's been around the league. He's been like a dude who's been around the league for like, I think his best years were with New England, and they kind of like bounce him around. We've kind of found a good role for him like the last 2 or 3 games, but he's not like a dude that's gonna like change the game. Like he was meant to be like a dude who could like be a striker that would come off the bench. But the last 2 games or so, we've like found a new role for him.
Is he starting ahead of not ahead of, but like he plays in front of Mukhtar. He is the 9, Mukhtar is that 10.
Yeah, so like the way we've played previously was like we wanted like that holding striker who could like hold up play, do whatever, and like I think Sam Surge was supposed to be that dude, but like he's not. That's not his profile. That's not really what he wants to do. He's like, even though he's like 6'3" or whatever he is, and like looks like he should be a target striker, he wants to like get the ball at his feet. He wants to go at people. He's like more like a
winger.
Yeah, he which is weird because now we've moved him to winger, and we started to get more out of Teal Bunbury because he's like we use him as like the 9 where he can flick on, he can hold up play, we can run off him. He's not scoring goals. That's which is crazy. It's like we're one of those teams where it's like
he's creating chances.
Yes, your 9. Most people want your 9 to be the goal scorer, but like we're kind of using him in a way where he creates chances for others from the striker position. So it's like he's not great, but what he's asked to do, he's doing good at.
I mean, you guys are third to last in goals against, which is scary in terms of the other side of the fence. The only other teams that allow less goals are Charlotte and Columbus. Oof. And they're pretty disciplined, Danny. They have one of the least amount of fouls committed. Doesn't seem like we're gonna have any room for that.
It's pretty crazy because that was like that's always been kind of one of the things we hung our hat on, and like at least in the early part of our season for us on our side, like watching the team every week, it felt like the defense is starting to fall apart a little bit, and we're like, this is not what we built our house on, and now it's starting to like fall apart. But now and like I said, I keep going back to it, but it's when Walker Zimmerman was out for like the first half of the season, our defense could not stop anything. He's back. Suddenly, we're like one of the best defenses in the league. It's like you don't want to spend that much money on a defender. Not many teams have a designated player as their defender, but it seems to work with us when he's healthy. And unfortunately, he's about to go to the Olympics, so that's the other bad part of it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You guys have scored 22 goals in 19 games. So, obviously, like you said, you're not a high-scoring team. If you win, it's going to be a 1-0. Literally, that's going to be the final score if you win 1-0. We're not really used to seeing games like that for us because people score on us early and often, and then we try to outscore them. So we definitely play a more, if you want to say, exciting form of football. As a fan, it's stressful to watch, but it's definitely more exciting. So I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out. Chris, real quick, how do you think we line up against Nashville? Because this is how we lined up last game. Now, it was 5 in the back with Busquets being that third center back.
That's because Toto wasn't. But now that's because Toto wasn't there, right? Because of the red card deal. Now that he's back, I think we're going to go back to the 4 in the back. I think Allen is gone, right? Christoph obviously replaced Toto in for Christoph. And I mean, at this point, the only other replacement I see is Bright coming out for Ruiz, maybe. That's really the only thing that I can be able to see that's going to be the difference.
So your center backs are going to be what? Christoph and
No, it's Christoph and Toto. Yeah.
Okay. I think it might be Frey and Christoph. I'm sorry, Frey and Aviles, and you might get Wagon at the right back.
Well, he's just coming back from like this little, injury that he had or whatever it was, right? Like there was an injury reported, but like they showed him on the field with blonde hair now. So he's finally playing soccer. So I guess I could see Frey coming in instead of Christoph. I would love that more than having Christoph.
So I think it'll go back to 4-3-3. It'll be Alba, Christoph, Aviles. I'm sorry. Alba, Frey, Aviles, and Wagon. Busquets in the middle. It'll be a 4-3-3. So it'll be Busquets, Gressel, and Kremaki. And up top, it'll be Taylor, Campana,
and I would imagine...
Gressel will be the right wing.
Yeah, okay. Gressel will be the right wing, and then you'd have Ruiz fill in the middle.
So we're going to see a very normal lineup from what we're used to. It's just it's going to be Frey instead of Christoph.
I honestly would put Christoph to play against Nashville. Like, show Nashville what kind of player they could potentially get in a defender, because he would fit that system perfectly.
I agree. We've always said that here, that we think that if Christoph were to make it to Nashville, he'd be an all-star.
Yeah.
Right.
He is a rock back there on defense. Just a very slow, non-moving rock.
So that's the problem. We have like 7 center backs. Like the last thing we need is a center back. Like I've told you guys before, like if y'all want to give up Robert Taylor would be like the dude. That would be the dude. I know you guys don't like. I know he's like kind of like in and out with you guys, but like Robert Taylor would like
on this show. We love him.
Doppelberg on the left, Robert Taylor on the right. I would love that. That would be my like dream Nashville, and Hani coming up the middle. Like that would be actually pretty good. You guys would definitely generate a little bit more offense with that. I know, because I feel like that's one thing. We're kind of unbalanced, but if like we could get that extra attacker on the other side, like because we got 2 good attackers, maybe 3, and then like we got a bunch of grinders who are just like, we'll work hard, but we're not necessarily good at soccer.
Yeah, and let me tell you, Danny, it wouldn't surprise me to see Taylor thrive in Nashville, in a team like that where he can be able to like counter, use his speed, and get into open spaces like that. Wow, Robert Taylor on Nashville would be problematic.
Well, I haven't heard. I mean, he just said that
his
they have
name's
7
been coming up every so often. Well, yeah. I mean, and we need center backs, so maybe you might send like half your center back fleet to us for Robert Taylor. I mean, Robert Taylor's been in talks like for a couple trade offers here and there. So if you throw a nice center back package,
we've been hearing his name in a couple rumors, which we're not happy about, but we have a feeling that if all this Angel Di Maria talk is true, which where there's smoke, there's fire, and we've seen a lot of smoke, there's a chance that he's coming over, and because of that, we might not have Robert Taylor very much longer.
I mean, like, I mean, Angel Di Maria, when he wants to play, like he's undoubtedly one of the best players in the world. Like, I'm a Manchester United fan, so I lived through that one season where he came there and just was like, not great, but he did not want to be there. He was like, But when he wants to come, you give him the money. Yeah, he might be.
That was the year that Manchester United went and they got Falcao also, right?
Yeah, we had Falcao. Like, if you look back at that, like, if you just like read that out, like, oh, Manchester United signed Falcao, they signed Angel Di Maria, they signed Luke Shaw, they signed Daley Blind. It's like, wow, this shit is the best signing class ever. But I think a lot of those people did not want to be there. They just cashed their checks, so it could have been good. But I mean, like, I think the one thing you guys have going for you, even with those players, is like Messi is going to make those dudes want to play. You know what I mean?
For sure. You don't want to mess up when Messi's on the field.
Exactly. It's like, Di Maria, when he came to United, I think he was just coming there to cash checks. But he's not going to come to Inter Miami with Messi unless he's going to deliver. Like that's the great,
for sure.
That's the greatest thing about Messi. It's like he's the best player in the world, but nobody wants to like let him down as much as anything else. It's like the players that are coming there with him, like they want to like be on his level. Like that's the craziest thing to him. You know, it's like Jordan and the Wizards. When Jordan was on the Wizards, like nobody gave a shit. They were like, that's Jordan. But like Messi at this point in time, everybody still wants to do good for him. They're like, if I'm going to go play with Messi, I got to be on my best. So like,
for sure.
So I would not want Di Maria to come to United or to Nashville SC. But if he came to you guys, he would probably be pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people here don't want him though, because we kind of got all the aging guys. We would like, he's like 37, 38 years old. Like, I'm sure he's still world class, but can we get somebody a little like, because at this point, Robert Taylor would be the one sacrificed. Yes. I know a lot of people might be like, yeah, but it's Angel Di Maria. I get it. But I mean, Robert Taylor gets back on defense. Even though he's not the greatest defender, he'll show you that effort.
He's gotten steals. So you can't even say that he's not a great defender. As a winger, he's going back and he's hustling and getting steals.
Yeah, I can't say he's not a great defender because he's not.
But he's not a defender.
Yeah, exactly. So, but at least he puts forth the effort.
Yes.
Di Maria isn't going to put forth that effort.
Yeah.
So, all right, Mr. Mad, we ask this question every week of our guest. Let's say you are a gambling man, you are a degenerate, and you put the house on Miami winning. But because you want to make sure that you win, you have a one-on-one conversation with Tata. You go up to him and you say, look, I got the house on this game. This is how you're going to beat Nashville. How do you beat Nashville? What do you tell him?
Andrew Zimmerman.
I would say Andrew, that is like, he is really like, it's crazy. Like, you know, your center back shouldn't be your most key guy. That is true. But my second suggestion would be just like, give us the ball. Because we are still in that point where like we are trying to figure out like how to play with the ball. Like we're trying to get there. Like
that's interesting. Okay.
Like we're still wanting to be that team that like, you know, counterattacks, transition play. Don't necessarily know how to play with the ball, and we might mess up, and then you guys just jump on it. And Messi's like, two touch. Well, he's not playing this game because he's at Copa America, but like, you know, Busquets can do the same thing. She's like, oh, you drop the ball right at my feet. I'm gonna shoot, score, goal. So like, I would just say, do everything you can to make Nashville have the ball. That would be my biggest advice. Is like, because that's the thing we'll mess up the most. Is like we'll lose the ball.
Well, I mean, against Columbus, that's what we did. We gave Columbus the ball, and we won.
Exactly, because our whole team, you know, and we'll see what happens if we get a new coach. But right now, our whole team was built around defensive solidarity and counterattacking football, which means if you give us the ball, we don't know what to do. We're like, wait a minute, we want you to attack us and then counterattack. So if you give us the ball, we don't know how to do anything with that. So, like, give us the ball. Give us the ball. We'll mess it up. We'll make a bad pass in the top of the 18. You'll smash it in the home.
It looks like Area joined us late, is asking if Nashville is still trash or have they been in better form. They have been in better form. Since we last played them, they've played 11 games. They've only lost 2 of those 11 games. They have 5 clean sheets in those 11 games. And they have only allowed more than 1 goal in those 11 games once, which was 2 goals scored by New England where they lost 2-1. Outside of that, they haven't given up more than 1 goal. So
they're back.
They're definitely much better. Much better. They're back in the playoffs. They're definitely much better. All right.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Danny, the last time we had Uncle Matt on, they weren't in last place, but they were like in second to last place, weren't they? They were like in one of the bottom 3, bottom 2 spots.
Yeah, they definitely started off really poorly.
And look at that. They're back. They're at number 7, like just creeping little by little.
I want to say the last time we played you guys, we were saying how disappointed we were because the game, there was no anticipation for the game because Nashville was doing so poorly. And I want to say that's what we were talking about the last time, because this is the 4th time we talked to you this year. Because we had those 2 Champions Cup games. Then we had the first regular season game where at that point Nashville looked horrible. And now we got this game, which you guys are looking better, but now we're not full strength. So
Yeah,
definitely,
the last time we talked, I was like, I don't know if I want to do a channel anymore.
yes.
I might just shut it down. I was like,
Yeah.
it sucks.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember. Yeah,
I was like, I just might shut it down.
I remember that. I
I was
remember
like,
that.
I don't even want to talk about the team anymore. It's
Yeah.
like,
All right, so real quick, Chris, I got the graphic up for the starting 11 from 2 games ago, I believe. I think that the team's going to look very similar to this. I believe that Ian Frey will start instead of Kristoff, and it'll be Alba, Frey, Aviles, and Weigand in the back. You'll have Busquets, Kremaki, and you know what? Instead of Ruiz, maybe we get Bright. Or if Redondo is healthy, maybe we get Redondo. So maybe we get Kremaki, Busquets, and Redondo, which would be big for us. And then you get Taylor, Campana, and Gressel up top. Gressel has looked his best when he's been playing right wing. So I expect another good game from him if he starts at right wing for a 4-3-3. What do you think, Chris?
I do also see that Kristoff's going to hit the pine and that Ian Frey's going to play. I mean, look, Ian Frey, before he got injured, looked golden. He came onto this last game, and he looked like he was before the injury. So, and that's something that we've been preaching on this show for a while, is that Aviles and Frey center back combo. So
It's gonna be nice, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be very nice.
Do you think there's any chance we see 5 in the back?
No,
I don't think so either.
I don't think there's a need for
Uncle,
that.
Yeah, Uncle Matt said that if they're gonna win, they're gonna win 1-0.
Yeah.
So if all we're defending is against 1 goal, we're gonna give up 1 goal whether we play 4 in the back or 8 in the back. We're giving up that 1 goal regardless. So I think we're gonna go in and try to break down their obviously above average defense, and we're gonna try to win a game 2-1. Because I mean we're gonna give up a goal. So I think we're gonna go for that 2-1. So that's how we see our side. Anything, Chris, before we get into predictions that you want to bring up about the game that you might have doubts on or you have any questions on?
Well, one question I wanted to have that I had to ask you about Shaq Moore. I haven't seen him play for you guys recently. Is he injured?
He's in Copa, isn't he? No, he's on the team.
he's in Copa America. He's with the U.S. national team.
So for some reason, they're calling him up. He's like 40 years old.
Yeah.
Well, they got he's not 40 years old. He's like 25. But Sergio Dest, who's our like number one like right back, is injured. So like, you know, Shaq. Wow. Shaq is like third choice.
And that's considering that Yedlin was on that team just a couple months ago. No, exactly. Danny? That's crazy.
Yedlin is done with the national team.
Yeah. No, I imagine.
No, he's done.
That's what I was saying on my like stream like of the game. Is like everybody's like, okay, the U.S. team is like the best U.S. team ever, but I'm like, we're still playing for like Fulham and like Aston Villa. It's like,
but compared to the history of the U.S. men's national team,
yes, it's better, but it's like the best players in the world still play for Real Madrid. Like,
yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's like I love, obviously, you know, I'm not hating on the U.S. national team. I'm like, I just want to temper expectations. Like, Pulisic is at AC Milan. That's the peak of what we've done so far. It's like,
oh, McKinney's at Juventus.
That's what I wanted to get to.
But he might be coming to MLS. Like, he's like even like him. It's like,
yeah, that's true.
I want to get your thoughts on that, but I think that we should wait till the end to get his thoughts on that, right, Danny?
Yeah, let's get the predictions, and then we'll go on to that, and we'll end it with that.
Yeah.
All right. So prediction time. Let's start off with you, Uncle Matt. Prediction time. Nashville. I'm assuming you're going to be at the game.
I will be there.
All right, you'll be at the game. Nashville always has great attendance. Always supporting. I'm looking forward to it. The one time I went, I thought you guys did a great job because up until that point, Messi had just got into the States and it was pro-Messi crowds just about everywhere we went. And then Nashville showed out. I was there, but it was really cool environment. So obviously Nashville's going to show out again this Saturday. How do you see this game ending up?
So before I get to the score prediction, I will say I think there's going to be a really funny thing that has happened already where here in Nashville, I don't know how many people know Messi is not playing in this game because of Copa of America. I know the 2 people that sit with me sold their tickets for $200 a piece months ago Thinking,
Wow.
so yeah, so that's the if you know, but still my tickets are available for $200. So if anybody is stupid enough to grab them, they can.
Somebody will.
Yeah, we'll see, but I think it's 1-1 would be my prediction.
Okay.
I can see.
All
that.
right, 1-1. I mean, look, if we get out of there with a result, with a point, I mean, it's not too bad. Okay, I guess I'll go next. I think we're gonna win 2-1. I think we give up the goal that we always give up. I wouldn't be surprised if we give it up in the first 10 minutes, like we usually do, also.
My goodness.
But I think we come back. If Redondo's playing, I think that'll make a big difference in the midfield. Grussel has shown that he plays well when he's attacking and doesn't have to worry as much about defending. And Campana or Robert Taylor, one of those two, create some magic, score at least one or two of those goals. I say 2-1 Miami wins. Chris?
I'm going to agree. I'm going to go with 2-1. I was going to go with 2-0, but I mean, we've been giving up goals like crazy in the beginning of the game. So I do think that we're going to give up a goal early, and it's going to be 2-1. We walk away with the win. And then it's game over for Nashville at that point. I mean, they'll be fine after. They have a pretty good schedule after that, I believe.
All right, so go ahead. Oh, go ahead, Uncle Matt.
It's kind of like one of the things like that kind of somewhat sucks about MLS. It's like you can lose games and we just keep going on. It's like,
yeah,
those of us that like have been following like European soccer forever, it's like one loss is like the killer. It's like,
yeah.
God, yeah, it is what it is.
Well, what do you think about the whole, before we finish the show off here, what do you think about the idea of McKennie coming to the MLS and playing for, what was it, Danny, for Cincinnati?
Yep.
Do you think that it is the right time for him? Do you think it's good for the MLS? Do you think it's bad? Because everybody's like, oh, a retirement league. But I mean, at this point, people are kind of starting to take the MLS a little seriously now.
I mean, for him specifically, if it's like Aston Villa or FC Cincinnati, I would go to FC Cincinnati every day of the week.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what, like Villa, you're not winning any trophies. Why would you go to Villa? Like you're just going there to stay there and being like, I'm playing in England. But Cincinnati, you're coming here, you're like making money, whatever. So if he was like at the level where he was staying at like, Bayern, United, City, Real Madrid, stay over there. It's kind of like the Dempsey thing. When Dempsey was at Spurs, like there was a lot of people like, why did Dempsey leave Spurs to go to Seattle? Like, he wasn't going to win anything. Spurs suck. It's like, that's kind of my philosophy. It's like, if the money's the same, go where the money is,
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, Uncle Matt, how much did you enjoy the USA game?
I enjoyed it until I did not. It was not great. Did
you watch it at home?
The one that just happened tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, it sucked. That was terrible. Like, yeah.
No. Did you watch it at home?
Yeah, I watched it at home.
No, I was just wondering.
It's terrible.
It was. I'm gonna have to watch the highlights, Danny.
Yeah.
Probably be on Uncle Matt's level for sure.
For sure. All right. I think that's about it. I don't know if you had any new questions for Uncle Matt before we head out of here.
I think we've exhausted all the questions. Did we ask him the most recent one?
We've seen Uncle Matt 4 times this year, so I think we got him through all the questions. I think you even answered the boy band question at this point.
Did you answer the boy band question, Uncle Matt?
Oh, it's Backstreet Boys forever.
Yes. So yeah. Oh, USA made Uncle Matt drink. Mr. Krabs is saying.
Oh, they definitely made me drink. Like there.
Yeah, man. That ain't H2O, my guys.
No.
I'm not a drinker. If you watch my vlogs, I'm not a drinker, but there is drink.
Listen, USA made everybody drink today.
You're not a drinker, but you drink.
No, there's something in here, but I'm not a drinker. But who knows?
Well, it's Thursday, the day before Friday, so everybody gets a pass today.
All right. And I don't know. Well, he said he's not a drinker, so I don't know if he can answer this question. What's your favorite beer?
I mean, Miller Lite. Miller Lite. My dad
That's a
drank
classic.
Miller Lite for his whole life, and I have never drank Miller Lite. I'm not a drinker. Nobody's a drinker.
Come on, guys.
Got it. All right, Mr. Uncle Matt, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. Hope you get some nice rest tonight. Take a nice nap, sleep it off. That USA game left a nasty stench on everybody. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Uncle Mad, 2D, anywhere you want to find me. That's the easiest way to do it.
Look right there. Come on, guys. Don't be lazy.
Right
It's
there.
right here. It's right here,
All right.
guys.
All right, and Chris,
Exactly.
any
I don't know. I'm
Any
poking
final-
at it. I was poking at it. All right, I'm drunk.
I love
Honestly,
this.
I am drunk. Real talk, I'm drunk.
yeah,
Check out his videos, guys. They're super awesome. Check out his
Yeah.
channel. Really good.
Ate some good
Uh,
fried chicken today.
Oh, nice. Okay.
There's a good fried chicken place over there in Nashville that everybody was telling me about, and I tried it out. It was pretty good. I forget what it's called. It's a chain. No. Any final words, Chris?
Yeah, that's it. It's game time Saturday. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's get like Uncle Matt on Saturday.
Absolutely.
Yes,
for sure.
did.
What? What did you say? All right. All right. I don't know what Uncle Matt said, but I support it, and I second that. If you are listening on audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5-star comment, review, all that other good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friend. And as always, if you are part of the comments or the chat, we appreciate you. You guys are the best part of the show. And yes, Uncle Matt, the USA made him drink. So it's not his fault.
That is what it is. That is
Yeah.
what it is. I'm not a drinker, but USA sucked today.
Sometimes USA does that.
So let's go. All right. On Saturday, we'll be back for the post game of the Nashville game. So we'll catch you guys then. So until the next one, have a good one.